Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video and another episode and another race of my Apex Online Racing League here for the PC F2 split here today for the Belgian Grand Prix, round number 7 out of 10 in this shortened season of season 17. If you guys missed the last episode of the last round for the German Grand Prix, round number 6, then check out the race, guys, by clicking in the top right hand corner of your screen to go watch that race. But with that being said, let's jump into business here at Belgium. It's one of my two favourite tracks on the calendar along with Japan, and I absolutely love this circuit, the history, and just it's like an ultimate racing circuit. You know, it's such a different variety of corners, and it's a real challenge to the driver, and I think there's a lot of places where you can make or break your lap, and that's exactly the kind of track that I like. In terms of this track though, we do have the usual compounds of the wets and the inters available, along with the super soft, soft and medium as the dry options around here. And for this race, it was quite interesting because I want to really try and perform well here. The pressure's on. I've been very inconsistent, really, to be honest with you, this season, and it's not been that good, and I want to try and stay in that top 5, top 6 fight in the championship and try and stay, comfortably top half of the table in the standings. With that being said though, Belgium is a funny track for me because, again, similar to Silverstone, I feel good around here, but I don't seem to have ultimate pace, so it's going to be quite interesting to see how that goes. And I was doing a lot of setup work right to the very last minute. I couldn't seem to find a good balance in my car, so it made for a very interesting session. So without further ado, let's jump into qualifying and let's see how we got on in the qualifying report. So jumping into qualifying, and the strategy for this one was quite interesting. It's something that I've never really done before, and it was quite a new thing to me, and that is slipstreaming. Now, I spoke to my teammate Koldo for this one because it seems like everyone was going to try and do slipstream, so we had to try and do our own, and the plan was to try and go for, take a turn each, basically. So on the first run, I was the first one to get a tow. As you can see here, Koldo gave me a run all the way through Eau Rouge and Malmedy as well, and sorry, Radion to be fair, and I'll be honest, we struggled to get this right the entire session. We didn't really get it in the sweet spot. I think it wasn't really optimised in this particular situation. I think Koldo was a bit too slow, he was a little bit too close, and I didn't really get much of a tow down the Kemmel straight. And then, of course, I didn't help myself by going through Les Combes and then through Malmedy and picking up a corner cut. So that was my first attempt ruined. And to be fair, I can tell you all 3 of my attempts were invalidated. So we're going to be starting from the back of the grid in this race because it was a very messy session. I managed to get a good setup that worked. And you can see how I finished my lap, and I would have come into the pit lane there because I'm validated, but me and Koldo had an agreement to slipstream, so I stayed out for one more, and I'm going to give Koldo a tow. So I'm waiting for him here to get up to speed and catch up, trying to time it to the absolute, as best as I can, to be honest with you. And I reckon out of the 2 runs, this was probably the better one, to be honest. As we go through a Rouge here, you can see now I'm in 8th gear, get the power down now, planted completely, and Koldo now is going to get the run all the way through the Kemmel straight here. And I think I almost got this one perfect. I think, it was better than I expected, to be honest with you. So I think that was a pretty good bit of tow. But I think Koldo in this particular run as well, you'll just see it now. I think he cut in the exact same corner I did, going through the right-hander there. I think he might have just cut that one because I think he invalidated his lap as well. And yeah, both our first runs were compromised. On the second run, we changed strategy. So on the second run, Koldo went for a time lap first. So I gave him the tow on my out lap, as you can see here. Koldo on a time lap. And once again, giving him the tow all the way down the straight and messing around with the DRS to try and find the optimum of speed as we pull over to the right-hand side. Again, could have been a little bit closer to him. I think I was a bit too far away, but still a relatively good tow nonetheless, as we let him go there into the distance. And now on the reverse lap, you can see now on my time lap here, going through a Rouge, Koldo giving me the tow. And unlike the last one, this time I think he was a little bit too far away. We just about managed to get within range now, I'd say within a decent tow, but he was a little bit too far away at first to really benefit. But then Koldo does pull out the way there and lets me go on my run here, as you can see. Currently setting a pretty good first sector in terms of beating my personal best. But then once again, for the exact same corner again, I cut through the Malmedy, and really poor from my behalf. I just couldn't get it right. I really didn't have the confidence in the car, and the setup work was annoying because I'd done a lot of work on my car setup, and it kind of paid off because I had a lot more pace in qualifying. The car was a lot faster, but I still didn't have that confidence to really throw the car into corners and really hope it grip up. Now this is my final lap in the session. We're going to run on board here because I did actually do a full speed lap. Even though I invalidated, I think it's worth seeing because we'll see where the pace truly lies. And straight away through turn 1, very nicely, tidily done there. We agreed to not have any tow on that final run. Me and Koldo, we spoke about, the first 2 runs, and we said, okay, the final run, just do what you can do. We're not going to go for the tow. So it's all about your own lap here. You can see on the delta on the top right what happens when you don't have the tow and how much time you lose here along the Kemmel straight. And it's the risk you take, to be honest with you. And in this case, we decided not to go for it on the final run. but still I pushed on here, and this time through Les Combes, much tidier here, going through Malmedy. We don't cut the corner this time, which is much better. I still turn in way too early for the right-hander. I can never seem to get that one right, but we now go down the hill through Rivage, and now down towards turn number 9, the corner of No Name, I believe, and trying to run the car as well as we can. We just pick up the invalidation though. We go a little bit too wide. The understeer kicked in mid-corner, but I'm still going to push on though as we go down the hill through Pau, and that would have been an invalidation as well. So if we didn't get a turn on, it would have happened at Pau, but still continuing on here just to see where where we would have been in the top 10 in terms of our overall pace. And you can see here going through the Fagnes chicane all over the curbs, and so far not too shabby here as we now go through Stavelot, messing around with the gears to make sure we find the perfect balance, and then we actually get a purple middle sector there, so quite a strong sector 2. We're only a fraction down on Serdai. Now going into the final sector here, and you're looking for the break point into the bus stop chicane, approximately the 100-meter board you want to brake at, and you want to make sure you get down to second gear, maybe third, depends on your preference. I like third gear, and I use second only to get the rotation, but even then, like, I'm much more comfortable in third gear. But now through the bus stop chicane here on the power, DRS open, and to be fair, it's a pretty good lap. It's a 41.0 across the line, and only a 10th off of Serdai's time. And in hindsight, if we'd had the tow and that lap hadn't been an invalidation, I reckon we could have had another 3-4 tenths taken off that time, with the tow, and with that lap it could have put us right into the top 4 there. Really competitive time had we, in an ideal world, got the tow and not invalidated our lap time. In the meantime though, Coldo, my teammate, did set a good lap time, and he managed to go P6. It was very close. A lot of people there floating around the high 140s, low 141, so we would have been right in amongst the pack with that lap. But like I said, if I'd had a tow, and Coldo as well, if he had a tow from me, we could have been right up there, because Serdai in the Mercedes got it absolutely spot on. I believe he was really fast all weekend, but the Ferrari as well for THM and Smege as well in P4, they all got their toes much more better, synced up. But Serdai with the ultimate lap there, really hooking it up with the slipstream, and he did a 140.4, so fair play to him, and getting pole position there. We are going to start the race from last place in P16, so that's what you get when you don't hook up a qualifying lap and you invalidate time after time after time. So with that being said, there is your grid for the race on Sunday, and yeah, the pressure's on, because myself and Cole need to get some points from McLaren in the constructors, because Ferrari are really putting the pressure on. So let's see what we can do. It is now time for the race though, and qualifying is in the book, so let's jump into it. It's time for the Belgian Grand Prix. Okay, so jumping into the race on Sunday for the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa-Francorchamps, you can see on screen the strategy as we get underway on the formation lap, and this was a bit of a tricky one for me because I was handicapped on strategy here. Now, the realistic situation was to go medium super soft. I wanted to go soft super, but unfortunately my supers weren't fresh. I had no super soft tyres left that were fresh, so I had to basically have a use set on the strategy. And we're going to have to use the mediums to go longer in the first stint, so I can actually use the supers at the end. And the soft could be an option, but I really want to be on that super soft to really have the maximum pace towards the end of the Grand Prix. So a little bit annoying that we don't really have a full range of tyres to choose from, but nonetheless, as you can see, we are going to pull up here on the grid, and we're going to pull up at the last grid slot. I believe someone disconnected. I think it might have been Railgon. I'm not really sure who it was. I can't remember right now, but we are going to gain a free play straight off the line straight away here as we start the race from P15 instead of P16. The fire lights are on though, and we are underway for the Belgian Grand Prix here at Spa-Francorchamps. Straight away, a pretty average start as we race down towards turn 1. Going to go for the outside line here and then try and bring it back across for a late apex and a good exit, and we do manage to just about get Lemon there, and we get almost side by side with Julian in the Force India, who's on the soft tyres, but we have to kind of back off and yield and sit behind the Force India for now as we go through Rouge for the first time here. Just taking it easy, making sure we don't lose the back end mid corner there, because Rouge is very sensitive on cold tyres, and currently on the Camel straight. You've got Julian there all over the back of his teammate Sam Idiot, and Sam Idiot, I believe, he's on the medium, so there might be some team orders there at Force India trying to switch the tyres and switch positions, because I'm trying to go down the inside of Julian there, but he's got too much grip on those soft tyres right now. I'm going to try and challenge him again though, down towards turn there, but he blocks off the inside, and I go for the outside line there, but there's a lot of understeer through this corner. We just can't quite hang it around the outside of the Dutchman, and again, Julian going to try and have a look down the inside of his teammate there, but no way through as we go down towards turn number 9, and now down towards Pouon, and again, Julian all over the back of some idiot. I wondered, again, if they were going to switch positions, because they're on different tyres as we pick up our first track extension of the Grand Prix. They're going through Pouon, running wide, a very poor one from me, very stupid mistake to make, as we wasn't even going that fast, and I could have easily kept it in track limits, but I kind of got sucked into following Julian's line a little bit, and that's what ultimately cost me there. But as we now go towards the end of sector 2 into Stavlo, and again, nothing really happening here so far, no major changes in the order. The only good thing is that we've overtaken Lemon, and we're up to P14 now. We gained that free position from P15 as well, due to the person that disconnected at the start of the Grand Prix. So 2 places gained off of the start here so far. And now we've got Julian again challenging Samidia into the bus stop chicane there, side by side. Does Julian go for the dive? No, he doesn't actually, quite surprisingly, and holds back for now as we run a little bit deep into the brake zone there, but we are going to just about bring it back for the apex, and that one, the draws to a close here at Spa. So far so good on the medium tyres, and you know, that's kind of the objective here, to let the car do the work and try and go long on these tyres, not lose too much time at the start, and try and stick with the pack if possible, as Julian has a very wild moment there out of turn 1, and now going down the hill. Everyone trying to fight for the slipstream. I believe AOR in the Toro Rosso has had a poor turn 1, and he's actually lost a lot of positions there, and now he's on the back foot as we have a big moment through Eau Rouge. We're going to get the toe on the Toro Rosso, but he does have super softs on, so we're going to be a little bit of a disadvantage when it comes to the grip here onto the Camel Straight as we now go down towards Lake Com into the chicane. We're going to try and go around the outside and throw the car in there. Do we hold on to the position? It's side by side still, but we have to back out. We don't have the inside of Malmedy, and we have to give the position to AOR there, and we can't fight for now. Again, down towards turn 8, AOR down the inside of Samidia, and Julian has finally got past his teammate, and you can see now the Force India, Samidia on the medium, struggling for grip there as AOR goes down the inside, and now we're all over the back of the Force India here as we try to look for a move. Somehow he's going defensive there into Puan, but he comes back into the racing line, and again we're going to try and look for a move here and try and be the first of the medium tyre runners if possible in this race, and be best placed for later on in the Grand Prix as we go towards the Fania chicane here. Again, Lemon also being cautious behind, not going for any rash moves just yet, and you can see a bit of a separation there in the pack as we have a huge movement out of the left-hander, and you can see this little train of cars starting to form here as there's a bit of a disconnection between the top guys and the lower midfield here, and so far as we go onto the back straight, it's looking very tricky to get a toe because everyone's getting a slipstream off of everybody. So it's kind of a battle of you know, who's got the best setup for straight line speed, because nothing much is going to happen here. However, we have a bit of a poor moment there through Blanchimont, and Lemon absolutely sends one down the inside. There's contact between him and Samidia, and then there's more contact with me as I turn into the corner, and that is the critical moment of my Grand Prix. When I tried to switch back underneath Lemon there, if you watch it back again, I tried to get the switch back on him. I had contact with his right rear, and that actually gave me light green ring damage. You'll see in the bottom right of the screen at the minute, but we've got light damage on the front left side of our end plate, and you can see it there in confirmation that we've got damage, and that's going to give us understeer now as we have a huge moment for Eau Rouge. But yeah, that little incident there is going to be the trigger point for my race starting to go downhill, because of that incident and that damage, we're going to have a lot of understeer, and it may not seem a lot of damage, but it is enough. As you can see, a Lemon here trying to make a move on Samidia, but it doesn't really work out for him, and I'm putting him under pressure again. But now you'll see the first bit of understeer as we go through Puan. I just run so wide. I did pick up an extension, luckily enough, but there was no grip on the front end of the car, and it was really, really bad. Now the problem with this damage is that normally, as we have a bit of a moment there for Eau Rouge, and then speaking of which, Lemon has a huge moment there. We're going to get another toe on the Renault. Lemon at the minute very reckless and all over the place so far. You can't seem to get settled in this race as we go side by side with the Renault. Can we take him down the inside into Les Combes? Just about. We make the move there. Lemon looking for the switchback. He's going to try and go around the outside into Malmedy, but there's no way through there. That's not a passing opportunity, and we re-overtake Lemon there. But like I said before, the problem with light green damage is that the wing doesn't get fixed in the pit stop, even if you tell them to, because it's not enough damage. So you basically have to try and crash and lose more of your front wing so that it gets changed, because as it stands, the team will not replace my front wing. Back onto the action though, Lemon on the back of me again here on lap 5, and you can see we're starting to drop back here from the cars in front due to my understeer and my ongoing issues. And then there's contact at Les Combes, and this Lemon again, more contact with him, and this time you guys can judge it for yourselves. I'm not going to say much because I don't really know what to think. I don't know if it's a racing incident, my fault or his fault, because I thought I had the corner. Lemon thought he had space there to hold it. Very Rosberg Hamilton 2014-esque in my opinion, but we are now down to P15 and we are so far behind, and with the wing damage we've got no pace. So I was literally just sitting at the back here, and it's not like I can just come in, fix the front wing, go into the mediums and go to the end. I'm using my mediums right now, so I don't have another set of mediums to use. So we've got to try. We've got no choice. We've got to stay out on these tyres and go long enough to the point where we can change our strategy. And instead of going onto the super softs, we will go onto the soft compound tyres. So again, the strategy compromised here, but I've still got my wing damage, so I need to try and somehow lose more of my front wing as we have a huge moment for a Rouge, and try and pick up some more damage so that my wing gets replaced. Meanwhile though, on lap 8, those who have come in from mediums are on the back of me already here as I pick up my second track extension of the Grand Prix, and it's Rayner in the Williams all over me here, and to be fair, there's not much I can do. There's a little bit of lag as well, and he makes the move pretty straightforwardly on the Camel straight. I just don't have any performance, you know, I've not got any confidence in the setup as you saw in qualifying, and then the front wing damage as well. And you know, just add to that the medium tyres, which aren't in the best condition, and it's a recipe for disaster here. It's error now in Toro Rosso on the back of me here, but Kreisig, I believe, is sneaking up as well in the other Mercedes, and it's 3 wide here briefly on the Camel straight before they both get past, and I cannot fight it, unfortunately. Again, there's no point in me battling these guys. I don't have the downforce, the tyres, the grip, or the confidence to battle, so we let them go, and we drop back down to last place in this race as we go into the gravel there for good measure on the exit. But luckily enough, we are finally going to make it to lap 10 here, as you can see on the screen, and this is my pit stop lap as we go through a Rouge, and again, another mistake, 1 wide. I've got no confidence, the understeer kicks in, and we pick up a 3-second time penalty for running over the curb and not making the corner, and then another one for good measure through Pooh on there. So a really scruffy race so far, you know, 4 track extensions, multiple contact with Lemon, but now I have to try and break my front wing here without losing my front right tyre. And there we go, into the pit lane. We're going to knock off the front wing, so that way we get a front wing change. And there we go, into the pit lane then, and my tyres are absolutely knackered. And I was meant to go to like lap 16 on these, you know, coming from the super softs, but the strategy change came into effect, so we're going to go into the soft tyres instead and try and get to the end of the race on the softs, because we can't go 6 more laps with this damage. It's just ridiculous. So we're going to come in, get the front wing changed, and a fresh set of soft compound tyres. But at this point, we are so far behind anybody in this race, and there's nothing we can really do. So all we can do is just hope for the best, push, and set some good lap times as we rejoin the racetrack here, leaving the pit lane now off the limiter, and yeah, there's literally nobody near me, so we're all by ourselves, and we get to work on the soft, setting a few lap times, and then on lap 12 again, as we go for a Rouge here, this was the end of my race as we have a huge moment over the curb, hit the wall, and that is it for the Belgian Grand Prix. I lost my front wing, but at this point, I don't even think I've got any tyres left, so I just kind of gave up, and I was like, okay, you know what, that's enough for me. I don't tend to rage quit or leave races, but I was half a lap down, and everyone's done their pit stops, and it just wasn't the race for me, unfortunately. Far too many incidents, you know. I was really pissed off at the time with Lemon. You know, I know he's a good racer, but the multiple run-ins, you know, the late dive into the bus stop, which he used some idiot as a brake, and then you know, the front wing damage, which you could argue was my fault maybe for turning in too early, and then also the contact, and then also him being a little bit reckless overall, like losing the back end for a Rouge. It just wasn't a good race for me, and yeah, no complaints of mine. It's just the way it is, and I can't really say much. I didn't really have much pace, although having said that, I was more confident with my race pace and qualifying pace, and on another day I think I could have done better, but ultimately you can see again on the standings there, it's a DNF for us, my first one of the season, and we've only scored 1 point in the last 3 races, so it's really, really poor. We dropped down from 6th to 8th in that race in the standings. However, it's not all doom and gloom. We're not miles away just yet. You know, mathematically, if we win the next race and we add 25 points to our tally, that would take us to 61, and we could jump straight back up to 4th place. So, you know, it's not over just yet. We need to try and have a good race. Julian also DNF'd in that race, and THM was actually the winner in that race. Smij, P3 there, and Coldo, my teammate, did really good to get on the podium. So fair play to Coldo, he did a fantastic job, and really, like, I take my hat off to him. He done a great job all weekend, and him getting a deserved 2nd place after starting from P6. Really good job from Coldo there in the other McLaren, and yeah, it's my fault that, you know, we are where we are, because I've not been holding up my end of the bargain. I've had a lot of screen freezing, a lot of bad luck lately, and it's been a very miserable season for me, so not much I can say except for I'll try again in the next race in Italy, where I'm sure slipstream will be a factor again around there, and it's going to come down to such fine margins at such a high speed circuit. With that being said though, hopefully you guys did enjoy this episode of my AOR race series, so to speak, my AOR F2 PC adventure, and hopefully for round 8 in Italy we'll be much better and much stronger and try and score some decent points. I want to try and get at least a top 5 finish in that race. I really need it to get some points on the board. But yeah guys, with that being said, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like, and also get subscribed if you are new for daily Formula 1 and MotoGP content, and also turn notifications to not miss a video from me, and finally check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video very soon, but until then, it's goodbye from me.